Welcome to Rangers Radio on the Matchday show, the world's one and only unique live phone-in show for Rangers supporters all over the world. Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Hello, welcome back to Rangers Radio. Dundee United 1, Rangers 1. Joining myself, Rob, back in the show is AK. AK, first game, cobwebs, anything else you want to put it?
Aye, you could say that. I think we were caught in a spider's web tonight. It's not the best start of the season. We were all hoping for the victory. I would attain the victory by any manner of means, and it didn't come. To fall behind, we make it hard for ourselves. Did we deserve to win the game? Or the course of the game? I thought Dundee United actually had the big chances to actually seal the game themselves. With endeavour, we huffed and puffed a wee bit. I thought the start of the game, Shankland could have scored an early cracker, which would have settled us down a bit. But the longer the game went, Dundee United had a look at us, and the scene that we were there, we were vulnerable, and the course of the game transpired that way. Second half was intensity and what have you, but we can talk about that. But the piece of the game, did we deserve to win? No.
Did we look like a teammate who have got a lot of new players and it's their first competitive game? Although Dundee United have got signings as well, they've played 4 competitive games. That's your first tonight. Did you see the difference in that?
Aye, possibly. The competitive edge is better than friendlies. That's for sure. But for me, the intensity of the play wasn't there for the off. I mean, Derek McInnes gave the warning signs in his pre-match interview to his team. I'm assuming he said the same words to his team as what he said to the camera and the supporters. We need to start fast. We need to be on it. It's going to be physical. It's going to be, huff and puff and things like that. But we just didn't get a foothold in the game. For me, when Dundee United played some decent stuff at times. The boy Will Ferry, I thought was excellent the entire night. But we've got to be better than that. We've got to be better in key areas. With plenty of shots at goal, but no real quality, if you know what I mean. Apart from obviously the Asgard goal was excellent, but the chances our strikers were meant to be getting, their Shankland or Nadiri or Chermiti, they didn't come. So, but didn't really control the midfield, and he rectified that at half time, mate. But all in all, it's another disappointing start to the season, and I believe that's now four seasons in a row that we haven't started with the victory that we were striving for.
It is indeed, mate. 3 draws on the bounce as well, which isn't a good outlook. Listen, the phone lines are open. If anybody wants to come and give us their thoughts on the game, we'll digest the first half and the second half, but feel free to join us. It's 0141 356 1972. Come give us your take on the game. AK, as you said, first 5 minutes, I thought we actually started okay. And of course, it was the first chance of the game, fell to ourselves with Shankland. Asgard, who I thought was our best player over the night, gets the ball, drives from deep, finds Nadiri, who puts it in, and Shankland tries a wee cute flick, mate. Whether it's going to trouble the goalkeeper too much, he obviously has to make a save. But from there, mate, you thought, okay, maybe we might be right at it. After that, though, it's pretty much all Dundee United in terms of threatening areas and threatening positions. Fernandes had a crucial tackle in about the 17th minute. Then after that, mate, it was very scrappy, quite loose passing, no kind of penetration, no intensity, as you say, mate.
Aye, it's that it was a wee bit like a boxer. Sussing us out. What have you got? You're different this year. what can you offer us? And they're different as well, but they've still got the same manager. So he's going to be firing them up. They've got their home crowd. They've got that sort of advantage, and they know they've got the minutes and the legs. That fitness really shouldn't be the issue. But intensity-wise, we lacked. And when Dundee United sense that's when they step into the game and they take advantage of it. And we've got to step up. I mean, Devlin was getting outnumbered in the middle of the park, and that was an issue for us. I thought Gassama was poor again. I thought Diamondi on the right. No, that just doesn't work. Why are we putting guys on the right when he's all left fit? Why are we putting guys on the left when he's all right fit? That just doesn't make sense to me. I know the idea behind it, the inverted kind of forward role, and your wing backs is meant to overlap and come behind them. But it doesn't look right. And they're running into traffic, and just the quality of the ball possession, funding our men going up front. There wasn't much running off the ball for me going down the channels with Naderi. Asgard seemed to be got a free roll wherever he went. But you've got to work harder. I thought Godfrey, Sterling was caught out of position a few times, and Godfrey was having to dig him out. Fernandes was in his own wee world for most of the game. He had just absolutely zero awareness for the entire game. I know he wins a lot of headers when it's in the box, and that's fine, but his game awareness is zero. There wasn't many positives. There were more questions than answers. It's one game into the season. I'm not going overboard on it. I know it sounds as if I'm slaughtering the team. One each isn't great. It's no a defeat, but it's no a win.
No, as you say, mate, over the piece, I don't think we've done enough to win the game. I think if you look at it, a draw is probably a fair result for both teams. Dundee United pushed, did a massive chance in the second half, which we'll come on to in a few minutes. But when you talk about Sterling there getting caught out of position, does that just almost echo what you've said a minute ago? The fact that you've got Diamondi in front of him, the only width or service is going to come from Sterling, so he's got to play high. Is that the risk you take when you've not got a natural wide player in front of a defender?
It can have the domino effect there, mate. It's a good observation, but the lack of a leader in the back line there when Godfrey went off was alarming. We need a Davy Weir type figure in there for me. Somebody experienced, somebody a calm head, somebody that can read the game. We lost a guy the day of the football world, a Franco Baresi. God, how we could be doing with somebody like that. Just an old head in there that can recognise threats and recognise, better positionally wise, and just have a bit of awareness round about you. Fernandes, for the good player, the attributes and all that he has, he doesn't look like a natural defender. He doesn't spell danger, and that's a massive problem for being a defender. For that last line of defence, he was sleeping, and Dundee United should have scored there, but thankfully they didn't. Pandur came out to shut down the angle, and the guy made a hash of his finish. But if they score there and we're beat 2-1 the other night, our support are going ballistic, and probably quite rightly so.
As you said, it was a massive chance, and that obviously comes late in the second half. But just to round up the first half, we did create some chances. Sterling had a shot from outside the box on his left foot, goes wide of the mark. Gassama down the left does his usual, chops back onto his right, finds Diamondi, who, I'll be honest, mate, took a great first touch with his right, who allows him a bit of space and fires it just over the bar. But you thought then, towards the half, we were starting to creep into it. Then all of a sudden, the sucker punch. And his name might be Lackey Rose, but it's more like Lucky Rose. Because he's not even knew about that ball. That's hit him, and it's trundled in. And Pandur, as much as he can scramble, mate, he's not getting it. And it's 1-0 Dundee United.
His strike part in the front there made actually quite a clever move. He dummied the ball, but he didn't expect it to come. And certainly Fernandes and Asgard lazing back into the defence. He didn't see the danger or the threat at all. Fernandes should be sprinting back there to cover the move. If he gets back there in time, the guy doesn't even get a chance to touch the ball, but he's trying to control the ball. And here, does it know, find itself in the back of the net? Lucky Rose, right enough. You must have Ox's joke book on you tonight.
No, somebody told me just before I came on air. That's how it ended, mate, at half time. Obviously, Dundee United won, Rangers nil at half time, and I think we could all agree that we knew that changes were going to come. And of course, there's a double change. Chermiti and Neil came on for Nadiri and Gassama. I'll be honest, I'm not surprised at the subs at all. That's probably what I would have done. I think there was a point in the first half where you could see, particularly in the midfield, there was a massive gap. Dundee United were able to get the ball from wide into middle, and there was nobody within 5-10 yards around him. Devlin hustled and harried, but he was on his own a lot of it because, as you said, Asgard had that free roll as such to get forward. So I've seen the reasons why, but half-time change, mate, did that surprise you at all?
No, desperate. We needed to change something there, and it's good observation to recognise that. Devlin was getting outnumbered in the middle of the park, and when you're losing the midfield, that spells danger for the rest of the team. But it didn't for us guys. Our guys, Asgard, Diamondi, Nadiri. I know they're all kind of forward-thinking guys, but you go to do your dog work in the middle of the park as well. You can't, but this isn't a new thing for us. We've seen it over the years where this has happened time and time again. I just think it comes down to a lack of awareness, lack of concentration, a lack of work ethic, a lack of tempo, a lack of intensity. We shouldn't be having this with our team, and we think that having a Rangers man in as manager now, we've got Rangers supporters in our team to tell us while they're on the park. The lack of leadership again, and we're meant to be bringing leaders into the team. Well, it's still no working. So there's still guys in our team, Rob, that are no getting the message of wearing our shirt. You can't go out there with that lackadaisical attitude, because the blood and starters game in Scottish football, they'll just get torn in about you and expose any kind of weaknesses. Even Dundee United, who are a bottom 6 team last year, remember, and they go 1-0 up on us. We make it hard for ourselves. Scoring the early goal with Asgard gave us plenty of time to go and seek out a winner. But at the end of the game, we could have actually lost it. Quality's not there, mate. There's still question marks about the strength and depth of the squad, and in particular, we need to try and offload some of the guys who shouldn't be there to get better quality in. So there's still a lot of work to be done.
Did you feel for the first 10 minutes in the second half, mate, obviously with a couple of corners in a row, Fernandes had a header, no real power behind it, didn't really trouble the goalkeeper as much as he spilled it. Asgard has a shot from distance, again the keeper makes a good save, quite comfortable for him, probably more of a camera save. Chermiti has a chance as well, I think it hits the post, Diamondi's a follow-up, but then it's pulled back for offside. But from that moment, mate, from that the kick-off in the second half up till there, before we get the equaliser, did you see a shift in intensity, or did Dundee United drop off?
No, I thought McInnes must have gave him a rocket up their backside at half time, mate, because there was a shift in intensity. Somebody came on, was it a yellow card early doors, Dan Neil, and that was a sign of intent, and I liked that, because he's on there trying to make a difference. Nick Walsh again, 3 yellow cards we picked up. Dundee United only had 1, so that he still has an influence on the game with picking up certain fouls and letting others go. But there was definitely a sign of intensity there with Dan Neil, and the changes that he made. Chermiti put himself about, and other guys. The intensity did grow across the team. That comes with confidence. That comes with momentum. And we were, the superior team when we got the equaliser. But then we dropped off again, and we let Dundee United come at us. And you're like, what are you doing? You've got control of the game. Why are we backing off again? Keep at it. Keep doing what you're doing, and going to win the game. But we didn't. They thought that, well, 1 each, okay, that's us back in again. Then started to play safe again. That's danger. That's alarm bells all over when you start doing that.
Well, as you say, mate, there was a shift. I think we could see it. Dan Neil, who obviously came on at half time, started to get on the ball, was playing the ball forward, trying to find the players in the gaps and spaces, and we eventually do get the equaliser, mate. I think Lawrence Shankland, who I thought was quiet in the game, to be honest with you, shows his strength, forces the defender to head the ball towards Asgard. Great first touch with his right, shifts it to his left and fires it beyond the keeper, 1-1. And somebody might have said that Asgard would have get the first Rangers goal of the season. I don't know who though.
Aye, but you said for us to go ahead with Asgard. That would
I
have been
just asked
lovely.
who was the first scorer for Rangers. That was it.
Nah, good call, mate. Good call. And by the way, what a brilliant finish. It just shows you the technique that he has got. He read the situation there. He read that even the challenge he shanked one there, that the ball could drop in that position. Brilliant feet to nip in there with his right and then just stuck it away with his left. And at that time you went, yeah, beauty. Come on, kick on now. We've got plenty of time to go for a winner, but it didn't materialise. And I don't know what that is. Is it down to attitude, application? Something that we've been questioning this team for the last couple of seasons that's still not been addressed. I don't know what it is, but it needs to get sorted and quickly.
I think Sky Sports flung a stat up, mate, that since Asgard's goal in the 56th minute, I think they must have put us up about 65, 70. Rangers had one touch in Dundee's box. Dundee had 11 touches in Rangers' box. That is a drop off. When you've just equalised, you should have the momentum. You should have the wind in your sails to go and grab the winner. It again, as you say, it didn't materialise.
It's there in black and white. McInnes, I'll see that for the sidelines. But we didn't change nothing. Either the so-called leaders in the team should be pulling other guys who aren't doing their job, or McInnes should be recognising that and making changes, which he didn't until kind of later on in the game. I was surprised why a wee bit I said to Fox earlier there. Fox said agreed to Dragojevic for the player that he's built up to be. That could have been an opportunity just to unleash him and say, well, there you go, there, Scottish Fitba, get out there and win that game for us. But for me, I would have taken Diamondi off a lot earlier. In fact, he played the entire game. But I would have gave Curtis at least 20, 25 minutes to go out there and prove his worth. He's bringing them on with less than 10 minutes to go, and he was ineffective. So that's unfair on the boy. But no, again, question marks. Our more original players, people who have been there a few years, should know what it's about, but they're still going out there with the same lackadaisical attitude, and it's hurting us, mate. It's hurting us, and they either need to get their finger out, or they need to get out to Rangers.
Well, there's obviously still a long way to go to the window, mate. It's going to be an interesting one to see who comes in, who comes out, and the manager might get a better understanding and feeling now as well with the competitive fixtures starting. But just to round up the end of the game, mate, as well, obviously a few changes were made. McCrory came on for Ben Godfrey, who went straight down the tunnel. We're hearing it's a muscle injury. So that's not a good sign already, mate. I spoke on the show last week and said about injury history, and he had a kind of clean bill of health. And obviously I've jinxed him, but hopefully it's nothing too serious and it's more precaution than anything. Devlin comes off for Curtis, as you say, with 10 minutes to go, mate. That's not a lot of time to impact a game. Then comes the big moment, mate, for me, where the game could have been a whole different conversation we're having here. Fernandez is in the middle of no man's land, and that's me putting it politely. And Randall has a free effort at goal, mate. He's just got to put it by Pandor, who comes out, makes himself big, but that is a massive chance, and that's where you can be punished. That should have been a goal Dundee United.
Exactly, mate. If Dundee United are more clinical in that situation, we lose tonight, and unjustly we lose, because I didn't think we particularly deserved to win, but we certainly didn't deserve to lose. But it's just that it's concentration, lack of awareness with Fernandez, and he doesn't have the leadership qualities to command that back line. All of a sudden, he's become the kind of the general in the back line because Godfrey's went off. Nah, it's no good enough. But all it's doing is highlighting the inefficiencies that we've got for strength and depth in the squad that we've got in now. But I'm pretty sure McInnes and the recruitment team know that already and will be working on it. But it needs to be better, mate. It really needs to be better. And you've got European games on the horizon too, you know.
I, of course, start that European campaign on Thursday night, mate. So, again, it'll be interesting to see what happens between now and then. But it would be great to hear some callers and give us your take on the game tonight. So, let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yes, come give us your thoughts. We can obviously digest it again, AK, and callers are more than welcome to come in and let us know how they viewed it, the game. People always see a game differently. But I think we could probably all agree, mate, that there's still that concern about creativity. There was no kind of intensity or pace. And that isn't just in your wide areas. As much as we've spoke about the need for wide players, across the pitch, there was no pace, no spark. And that is going to cause problems, especially in the final third, because it limits your chance creation or clear-cut chance creation.
We're missing Mikey Moore badly. An 18-year-old boy for last year, mate. We're missing Journey. We're missing Seema. You know, you look back on the guys, and the guys are game changers. They're ball carriers. They're match winners, and we don't have them. As I said prior to tonight, we all recognise the strength and depth of the squad isn't there, and you've got to put that down to the recruitment of previous managers. But you can only go with the squad you have now. McInnes and the recruitment team has got a lot of improvement to do, Rob. And it's cutthroat Scottish football. You know, it's not going to allow you the time and patience that he wants, he needs. It's up to the support to do that. Of course, we'll give them the opportunity, but it's just a very, very disappointing start to the campaign as well, mate. But I'll not get too down the now because McInnes doesn't deserve that. He's inheriting a lot of the previous manager's faults that all the previous manager blame on the previous manager. So it's a collection of years of poor recruitment, and it's left the squad kind of no great, you know.
One player who obviously was there last season, mate, just wanted to touch on is Taylor Romans. I don't know about you, mate. I just felt he looks a bit of a shadow of him the way we saw him last season. I know he's played a lot of the minutes over pre-season. He's the only left back. There was a point in the first half he lets the ball bounce, which as a defender you should never do. You should have dealt with it more comfortably. I just don't know if there's been a bit of a difference with Romans, unless it's again just early days.
Funny one, because he looked so good last year. It maybe comes down to relationship. It might also come down to Fernandes again causing him problems because he's probably more forward thinking. Again, lack of awareness a wee bit. He's certainly no getting the opportunity to go on the left hand side because we're all upsided. There was a point in the first half actually where Romans had absolutely no space to run into because he had Asgard there, he had Gassama there, and you know, and where do you go? And the full right hand side of the pitch is bare. We've got to be more balanced than that, but we're lacking that natural width. There's problems there. The problems is obvious, but it's trying to recognise that and address it. And the only way you can do that is with buying the quality that we need in there because the players that we've got now, if McInnes isn't bringing on, you know, a Curtis or that I mean, how have we got to recognise that if he's bringing on Dan Neil before the wee man? And by the way, that's unfair on young Curtis to have all that pressure put on him too. But we've more questions than answers, Rob. I'm at a loss for words in a minute.
Hopefully somebody that can give us some insight and some answers will be Taylor Asgard, who got the goal tonight and got this a point at least, mate. So let's hear from Taylor Asgard.
Taylor, a draw in the end here tonight. How do you reflect on those 90 minutes?
No, obviously disappointed. It's too many years we haven't won that first game now. So yeah, ultimate feeling is disappointment. We showed some good moments in the game, but it wasn't enough, and we've got to reflect and go again.
Yeah, how do you as a group maybe not let it affect you too much? I know it'll be raw right now, but obviously there's been good work in pre-season and really just keep that going. Yeah,
I think we've got to trust in the manager, trust in ourselves. I think it might take some time to build them connections on the pitch, but it's no excuse today. We should have enough quality and enough about us to go and grab that second one after our first one. So yeah, just disappointed.
Yeah, you obviously got the goal tonight. You must be pleased on a personal level to obviously get off the mark for the season with that one.
Yeah, just try and contribute as much as I can. I always go into a game trying to score goals, trying to assist. So happy about that. But yeah, it's about the team. We didn't get that win. It's not the start we wanted, but yeah, like I said before, there was some good moments that we can take with us. So gotta reflect, listen to the manager, and move on. Got a big game on Tuesday. So
yeah, how's it been for you coming back into the group? You're obviously a little bit later coming back with the World Cup, but you seem to have really come back with a bit of confidence and a bit of extra, extra confidence about you.
Yeah, I wanted to come in as quick as possible and kind of bring that standard that I was training with obviously some decent players at Norway. So. Being in and around them lads makes you raise them standards, and I've just tried to bring that in. I'm not a completely new player or whatever, but I've took a lot from them 6 weeks away, and more so that just belief in myself to be the man and take responsibility when we're 1 down, 2 down, or we need a goal. So that's the player I want to be this year. Someone who the team can rely on to try and step up. If it's not goals and assists, then at least really good, strong performances, linking the play. So yeah, hopefully I can do more. But yeah, most important thing is to win, of course.
It is a big week again for the squad as well, with European football starting too. I'm sure that's something that you'll all be looking forward to now.
Yeah, it's always exciting playing European football. You know, part of the reason everyone signs here is to play against big teams abroad as well as the league. You know, the league is probably most important to us, but not many people get the opportunity to play abroad and in Europe. So it's opportunity that we relish and we're looking forward to.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Thanks for that, Fox. AK, we've got to admire his honesty. There's no excuses tonight. They should have enough quality on the park to go and get the win, especially when you've equalised. They should be kicking on. And I thought he was quite honest there. And I don't mind at all as well, AK, the fact that he's taking a bit of responsibility to say he wants to be the player that can influence games, whether it's get goals back in it, can provide good performances, assists. He's taking on a bit of responsibility. I don't mind that at all.
Aye, no, you're right there. But why Shankland know the first interview of the season? We had all this nonsense with Tavernier for long enough. Dip him out. I don't know whether it's his choice or whether it's McInnes that will pick somebody just to go up there. Asgard can at least hold his head high with his contribution to the game tonight, but I want to be hearing the Rangers captain. You don't dick away. You face the music, you face the support. You tell us, you know, it's no good enough and how we're going to get better. Asgard done his role tonight. The rest of the team didn't.
You'll never know, mate, if it's a nominated person that goes up to speak or if it's a volunteer. You wouldn't never know the ins and outs of that, mate. But I think, well, as you say, a lot of people probably look for a captain to come out and speak after a game, and a lot of it was said last year with Tavernier, particularly after big games, and disappointing results, and I don't want to say that D word, disappointed, because we heard it enough times last year during an interview, but you've got to be disappointed, mate. You've got to be, because when you've came in to a season, you've done some good work pre-season. There's a lot of new players to gel in. Things were looking good on paper, but again, as we touched on in the pre-show, this is the real stuff. This is where players are found out whether they're good enough. And again, I'm not getting carried away. It's the first game, but this is really where, in these league games, you find your place at this club.
Exactly, that's the bread and butter. We've got to start in the right manner. There's a lot of Rangers supporters out there worldwide who were confident going in the night, looking forward to looking forward to seeing what our team can offer us, and backing them to the hilt. And then you go a goal down and you go, oh, it deflates you. And we didn't need that. Did we get a good response after half time? Aye, we did. But we had an opportunity there to go and win the game, and we didn't. So then we're self-reflecting again. And, I think McInnes will be saying a few harsh words into that team. And when you look at the bench, where was our forward players? Where was the options that he could have brought in? And it's screaming out at you. And Curtis is your only guy. Miovski, Chermiti. The rest of them are all defensive midfielders or defenders. You're not going to win games. With no enough options on the bench. That's how good teams win a lot of the games. When it's not going their way, they get back in the game. Well, they stay in the front foot. They don't go in the back foot, and they then lose control of the game again. There's a few in that dressing room, and more so the guys who have been there for a few seasons that need a rollicking, or they need shipped out of your club, mate, because that stigma, that mental block, whatever they have, it's still hanging over that dressing room for me.
Just to take William Ramsey's point, who's on the Facebook feed, mate, he thought the midfield struggled. They couldn't string passes together. There was a spell in that first half where there was a lot of loose possession, sometimes players running into each other. Is that an ability? Is that just down to new players trying to gel, work out relationships and partnerships on the pitch? Or is it just too many players trying to do the right thing at the one time?
It just looks to me as if it's a lot of ball watching. They're following the ball. They don't have a structure, and they're just playing, I'll just follow the ball here and try to get involved, but you don't recognise the space, the awareness around about you, the danger, possibly a counter-attack. You've got to keep your shape, you've got to keep your structure, and when the opportunities arise, we've got to bury them. I mean, we've had 21 shots at goal there tonight, Rob. We've had 7 on target. Keeper's made some saves, but I wouldn't say the keeper was overly worked either. There's just a lot of disappointment about the whole 90 minutes that we've seen tonight.
I just said at the start of the show, more questions than answers, and that seems to be the trend of the last few games. But I think we've been joined by Jim. Evening, Jim.
Howdy, lads. How's things?
Oh, we're back, mate. We're back.
Oh, we're back. We're back where we were accustomed to the banger. By the way, I was a bit disappointed with that south side in there with all the white flags up already tonight, man.
He said he got that for you in bulk, mate.
In bulk.
You're getting the white bed sheets left, Jim.
I thought our team selection tonight we were lopsided again. And as far as I'm concerned, I think we let the ring guy go out the door. How that little ratbag, by the way, with a moose can still get a game in the Rangers jerseys beyond me, mate. And you know who I'm talking about. I rattled my cage about him last season. The guy's no heart, by the way, and he's got to be shown the door. Because McInnes keeps on persisting with him, then he's going to get the flack off the fans, mate. Other than that, Fernandes at the goal. What is he doing for a centre-half? Fucking jogging back. But you're right there about their goal. The goal's a fluke, by the way. Their goal is nothing but a fluke. But Fernandes, he's positioning in an absolute disgrace. Shat it for the tackle in the first time, then decides he wants to walk back into the middle of the park. Watch him after the ball is in the net. He turns around and starts moaning at people. His role as a centre-half, he's got to get back into position. Seriously, man, we bring it upon myself all the time, but he's got to get quality in there. He needs to get quality in there, by the way, pronto.
I think we've touched on the shows during the week, Jim, as you know, and the question's been asked of what do we need, where are we still short. I think it's evident after tonight what we do need, and it's not maybe just the easy fix we thought of the wingers for the creativity. The need for a centre half we still need. I think Fernandes is, for me, still raw, as you say, positionally. He doesn't read it very well, and AK can come in here as well. He doesn't read it very well, but obviously we've got McCann come in yesterday. He's obviously not trained much or at all with the team. Godfrey's picked up an injury tonight, so it makes us even lighter in defence already, mate. Hopefully it's nothing serious with Godfrey, but you're right in what you're saying, mate. Fernandes positionally for the goal, and obviously the big chance at the end where we could have lost it. AK?
No, definitely, Jim. Definitely. We see that, you know, as said earlier, I don't know if you caught it. Fernandes is just looks lackadaisical. You know, the first time seen him this season is against St Etienne. He caused our defence all sorts of problems that night as well. Against West Ham, he looked a wee bit more switched on. He was doing his job. He was holding his line. The night he was away back to his usual again. You're like, what are you doing? You know, and you're right. Again, it got highlighted at half time. If he'd have followed his runner into the box, he would have met the ball before the boy did. It was a fluke of a goal, but no, it was about the bangers. Who are you talking about here, by the way, this little rat? Is it Gassama or is it Diamondi?
That's exactly the man. That's the man I'm talking about, is Gassama. How that guy still gets a game in the Rangers jersey is beyond me, mate.
Jim, just when you said your first point there, mate, about the set up the team, we were lopsided. Is that simply just down to the personnel that's there at the club as we speak? There's no width other than Gassama and Curtis.
Again, you highlighted there about Black. My mate texted me there saying Black was a disgrace and all the rest of it. He ran ragged in there because there was nobody in there playing beside him. There was nobody playing beside him.
Cammy Devlin.
Sorry,
Devlin, you mean?
Black. It's about the fifth time this week I've mentioned that. Cammy Devlin, mate.
Carry on.
Unbelievable. I thought he get exposed all over the early place tonight, the guy. Trying to shut people down, trying to get any tackles, and there's nothing round about him. Because Monday again, he's passing the night again. How many times did he give the ball away when we were in great positions and they broke upon us? I mean, this is no a new thing. McInnes, he needs to sort this. I mean, there you go again. That's another manager chasing his backside already in this league, man, against crap like that Monday night. But again, I mentioned it the other night there. These teams are getting an advantage on the likes of Celtic, Rangers and blah, blah, blah. They're playing 4 or 5 competitive matches before we go back in there. You can see that tonight with Dundee United. They looked that yard sharper.
Was it sharper, Jim, or was it just the fact that they stepped it up against us more, particularly the first half, where they were in more control? We didn't have, as AK said, the intensity. They did. Is that down to the 4 competitive fixtures?
Well, you can bet your bottom dollar because there's nothing better than playing competitive fixtures, mate, than playing a bounce game, a friendly, mate. You played football yourself. Big Ox will probably tell you the same. You're not getting that edge in the pre-season friendlies, mate, where they've played 4 competitive matches, mate. It makes a difference no matter what level you're playing at.
AK, the counter argument would be the quality of player. Now, on paper, surely we've got a better quality of player, so when you've played 1 game or 5 games, the quality player should come out on top. But it didn't seem to be tonight. So again, are we questioning the quality after 1 game? Or, as I said at the start of the show, did we just look like a team that's still gelling?
It just looks like attitude and application, something that we've been saying for a few years. I get where Jim's coming from. I said that before he came on, that you're better with competitive games, but St Etienne and West Ham are better than Spartans, Arbroath, Montrose and Stirling. So that just sounds like excuses, Jim, when you say that. We weren't on it the night. We started away well and Shanklin should have scored early doors, but then we dropped off and allowed Dundee United to kind of dominate the way they wanted to play. There was a lot of long throws. There was a lot of long balls to turn our defence and get in behind us. and we weren't switched on for the goal, and that's unforgivable. I don't buy that it's because they've played the competitive games and we haven't. That's just lack of awareness. That's just laziness. That's just no doing your job following runners into the box.
You're 100% right, but that's down to the individual. That's not down to the manager, that's down to the individual.
Correct.
Can somebody maybe highlight another thing here? Are we not playing to these new FIFA UEFA rules, i.e. time wasting and whatever else? Are we not playing to the rules in this country anymore? I thought that was one of the rules, by the way, that it was going to get implemented in this country, but this time wasting.
No, it started tonight, mate. 5 seconds to take a throw in, but I don't know how slow Nick Walsh's watch goes. To be fair, we were the same, mate. I looked at the clock when we had a throw in, and it was about 7 or 8 seconds, and we still hadn't threw the ball. Same with Dundee United. So, as much as I can say, he never done it for them, he never done it for us either.
Yeah, mental. Well, I've never to blame it ourselves. You're right, it's down to the application of the players, by the way, man. Far too many of them, as usual, are way back to the same mistakes as last season. I'm going to tell you another thing, by the way, and I'm not having a go at the manager. When's the last time we won a game away from home? Because they never won a game away from home with Hearts from January to the end of the season.
Oh, I need to go and check it, mate. To be honest
Well,
with you,
by the way,
I
I don't believe we did.
Falkirk, the last game of the season and the last game before the split.
I'm talking about McInnes under Hearts. That's what I'm asking about.
Oh, right. Oh, well,
who was your pick?
They can't blame them for that.
Who was your pick, Jim, out of the squad? Who I don't want to say the word showing up, or who caught the eye as such, or who had a better performance than the rest?
I thought Asgard. I didn't think the goalkeeper had too bad a game either, by the way. I think if maybe a couple inches bigger, he might have caught that one. That goal.
Well, it was one of the fluke ones, mate. They could try and recreate that, and you'd probably end up getting it. But
They've seen it 10 times.
the keeper actually done well. We came out of the box a few times. We've seen him in the friendlies playing that high sweeper keeper, and he was called upon a few times. Diving head in the first half, second half he's come out and cleared it. Nearly created a chance actually with a clearance, but he looks quick off the mark. He looks sharp, and you can't really fault him. And he wasn't really tested either. I don't recall any other saves that he had to really make. And same could be said for Dundee United keeper, apart from Nadiri's header, which I think was probably going to go wide, and Asgard shot from that. There was no real clear-cut chances, and of course that big one at the end.
It was a poor quality game, particularly in the final third. There was a lot of effort and endeavour in the middle of the park, but there wasn't a lot of quality. You know, you're watching world-class players there at a World Cup, and even some of them struggled in certain conditions and what have you. But it wasn't a great game for the neutral point of view. But it's so disappointing for a Rangers point of view tonight to go up there and missed opportunity again to go, get a head start on everybody else in the league by putting 3 points on the board early. McInnes will be raging tonight, and I kind of, I get a wee bit of solace with that because you've got a manager in there that's hurting as much as us, but he can't, go out there and play. As soon as the players cross that line, how many times have we said it? It's up to the players then, and they don't show enough responsibility. Take the shot when it's there. Asgard had an opportunity when it came to the edge of the box as well. I thought he was going to whack it with the right. Nah, fed inside, played a safe ball, and ended up coming to nothing. It's just things like that, and he was one of our kind of highlights tonight. But we've got too many players that aren't willing to take that opportunity when they need them to do something to go and win the game, and that's disappointing too. But our lack of quality, Jim, on the bench, as I said before they come on, we've got Curtis and Miofsky, Chermiti come on. The rest it's defensive midfielders, defenders. How are we meant to win a game when we've got three forward players on a bench of 8 or 9 players? That's doing the poor level of recruitment again.
We're going on about decision making. What about the one with Chermiti when he could have rolled in, what's his name, Lawrence Shackland? He could have slid him in, and it's probably a tap-in.
I remember that. on the corner of the box. She opted to have a shot at goal. She ain't on screaming for it too.
It's clear for 2 minutes it happened. Again, I also thought with the one with Shankman, the one he's back killed, I thought he should have put his laces for it. What he could have put his laces for it.
I think the defender's probably goal side there, Jim. He's trying to be cute with it because I don't think he would get the shot away cleanly. Obviously, he's tried a wee flick, but listen, guys, we've got the manager, so get yourselves on mute and we'll hear from Derek McInnes.
Derek, a draw in the end there tonight. What's your take on those 90 minutes?
Disappointed with the outcome, disappointed with a lot on show, but we know we'll improve as we go along. I just felt we wasted a lot of the first half. I didn't think we did enough in the game in that first half period. I think with Ryan's header, the keeper makes a good save and with some little moments flashing about their box, but in the main I thought the movement of their front three gave us too many problems and we never really coped with that, and in turn, you know, they had too much, I thought, traffic in and around our goal, mainly from set plays, mainly from throw-ins and corners and the like, but we had work to do. We got ourselves in a bit of bother at half-time, and credit to players. I know we made changes and I think those helped, but credit to players for digging deep. I felt the equaliser was coming before it did. We had a few chances and then Taylor scores a magnificent equaliser, and then for 5 or 10 minutes after that I thought we looked strong again, but then inexplicably we don't keep the shoulder at the wheel. We start making little basic mistakes, give Dundee United a bit of encouragement again, and we've got to be honest, we didn't do enough thereafter. So a point on the road wasn't what we wanted when we came here, but it's clear we've got what to do to get some players in and what to do to get those improvements, and it's the first game of the season, proper competitive game, and while we can replicate friendlies and get the players fit, and I thought they showed they were fit tonight, just that sharpness of decision making and that kind of efficiency at times was sadly lacking. But I thought the subs helped us. Delighted with the strike for Tello. If that's, I need a couple of other opportunities, and but no, disappointed we haven't sent the supporters home happy with 3 points.
Yeah, can I just ask you specifically on Tello? He obviously came back early from the World Cup. He's had those chances tonight. We spoke to him there and he said he feels like he's taken a bit of confidence back with him from that tournament. Have you seen that?
Yeah, so he should. I thought his country and him, obviously he didn't play all the games, but certainly scoring against France in the World Cup, being part of all that, it must help you as a player in the confidence. And credit to him, he could have took the time off that he was kind of deserving of, and that most players would take. But he only wanted, I think, 5 or 6 days, a wee quick holiday with his partner, and then straight back into it. So that's the sort of approach that you love as a manager. And I was keen to reward him. He's looked good in training. I thought he was good against West Ham last Sunday against Ibrox. And I just thought today, when he started in the 10, playing behind 2 strikers, he didn't really move across the pitch as much as he would have liked. But I thought first half playing in that little inside position, he was far more effective. And you know, I think that's where he would prefer to play ordinarily. So, but pleased with him, pleased with a lot of the effort. But obviously not pleased with the result, and we've got what to do.
Ben Godfrey seemed to have a bit of an issue when he came off. Is he okay?
I think it's his hamstring. To what extent we're not really sure, but he was with a physio and a doctor before we left here. But he'll be in tomorrow and we'll assess that. But it doesn't look great, to be honest, when it's a hamstring. He just felt it. He was wanting to play on, but we never took the risk. So hopefully with that, the fact that he was able to play on, or willing to play on, maybe suggests it's not too bad. But maybe ahead of the game in Poland Thursday, it might be a doubt.
Yeah, and obviously it is that game in Poland next, first European competition. How do you, I guess, maybe pick the players up a little bit after tonight?
Yeah, I think there's well, that's the job. We've got to pick ourselves up, you know, and we came here with a lot of optimism, and I think it's just one game. You know, I don't want us to, you know, start to panic and start to doubt everything. You know, we've got work to do. The squad will get stronger, both in terms of the players here and the additions. The squad, when the window closes, will look a lot healthier than what it does now. But we've got games to navigate, and we wanted to navigate this one better than we did tonight. But the European game gives us another opportunity. I think we'll be better for having the 90 minutes, competitive game. And I think you'll see that as the boys get their legs, get their kind of fluency and a bit more rhythm into their game. I think the performances will improve. That's normally the way, and I expect that to be the way.
Thanks for that, Fox. AK, a real honest assessment from Derek McInnes there, but he's repeating things that we have heard in previous seasons. Basic mistakes, lack of concentration, and obviously a bit of a worry that Ben Godfrey looks like he's picked up a hamstring injury.
That's a concern, mate. Aye, listen, McInnes is no daft. You know, he knows the Rangers support. You don't feed us, Bill. You know, we can see right through it. So he's not going to. He's basically assessed it the way we've spoke tonight, Rob. To be fair, you know, we've not done enough to go out there and win the game, which is obviously disappointing. He knows there's a lot of work to be done in the squad. He says it'll be completely different, the squad and the team that we're going to know for another 4.5, 5 weeks to the transfer window closes. But we've got a lot of games to try and hit the ground running right away. Tonight was the first effort and we've dropped points, which is majorly disappointing. We've got to pick ourselves up and try and get through these European games to try and gather momentum for Hibs coming to Ibrox, because you don't want to be getting the sort of start that Russell Martin had last year and previous managers had, because it just builds pressure on you, needless pressure, and the expectation coming for your support is as high as ever, and that's not going to relent. He knows that, but our support, I know we'll be angry and frustrated tonight, but try not go overboard, please, because it doesn't help. It doesn't help the team. It doesn't help McInnes.
Jim?
Nah, he's not going to try and pull the wool. He knows they're no daft enough. They'll fell for this one before, but he highlighted a couple of things there about mistakes, and I think he knows where the issue is, and hopefully he'll rectify them.
Nah, here's hoping, mate. As AK says, there's a long way to go still in this window, and if McInnes is telling us the squad's going to look healthier in a couple of weeks' time than it is today, then we'll hopefully get to see that in fruition. But Jim, final word from yourself, mate, just as we wrap up the show. Thanks for phoning in.
No bother, mate. Thanks very much for having me on again. Just need to get on with it. Just need to batten down the hatches and just get on to the next game. See what happens. No doubt we'll probably get better. Hopefully he gets the right quality of player in that we need.
Yes, hoping, mate. Cheers. Always good to hear from you. AK, final word from yourself, pal.
Aye, thanks to Jim for phoning in and gaining his thoughts. It's a disappointing night. We can't hide away from that fact, mate. We've been there before. We hope to get off to a better start with a victory. Didn't materialise. All it does is just highlight the lack of strength and depth and quality that we've got in our squad and in our team now, and that's got to get addressed. But listen, it's first game. You know, we pick ourselves up and we go again on Thursday, and let's hope we get a positive result to bring back to Ibrox. But thanks again to yourself. We kick on, we pick ourselves up with this down, and we go again, because that's what Rangers do.
Cheers, mate. Always good to have you on. Just before we wrap up as well, just a massive shout out to all the Bears that travelled up to Dundee United tonight. Full voice for the full 90. Great display as well for the players coming out. So well done and safe travels back down the road. Thanks to AK for doing the show with me, Jim for phoning in, and of course Fox and Old School Blue in the background for doing the technicals, and of course everyone that's listened in on YouTube and Facebook. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back on Monday night at 8 PM to talk about all things Rangers. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take it away, Old School Blue.